My philosophy on Austin was if someone was willing to move, they would generally move to Austin.
Hey, nice to meet you. Shanil.
Doug.
Nice to meet you.
So how old were you when you started your first company?
I was 22. How about yourself?
24.
24, nice.
Yeah. I'm Doug Hanna. I started my first company here in Austin. That company was called Help.com.
I'm Shanil. I'm 30 years old, and I co-founded a company called Roomify. So Doug, I know you started your company out of Austin, and now you live in San Francisco working for another company. What are the major differences between the two cities?
Yeah, there's a lot of differences. So like the kind of quantity and quality of investors and talent and all that, like I would say is generally much greater in the Bay Area than Austin. It's just a much smaller market. And you could say the same thing about New York or other kind of entrepreneurial or tech cities in the country. Like San Francisco is just like orders of magnitude larger. Like I joke that there were more interesting tech companies like in one block in San Francisco than maybe in all of Austin.
Yeah.
And it just has so many advantages because of that. So that's probably the main advantage. It's also a disadvantage in that it's much harder. Burn rate, yeah, it's super expensive. It's much harder to stand out because there's always going to be like a really interesting, really exciting company, and like the culture of Silicon Valley is like very much so like have like who's hot and who's not. So that's really tough to stand out. And I really liked in Austin, like the community was so supportive here. Like it's smaller, you're like 1 degree away from everybody. And it feels, it's a little bit nicer in that regard. Like people in San Francisco are generally pretty nice and open and stuff, but it's just so much bigger that it doesn't really feel as much of a community as certainly as Austin did for me.
Yeah, makes sense.
And what about you?
So we're actually from Dallas, and we chose Austin just because San Francisco was super expensive. So Austin was the next big thing. We used to joke that when you quit your job, people are booing you in Dallas, but when you quit your job in Austin, people are clapping for you. So I think we saw the entrepreneur culture out of Austin, and we wanted to be a part of that. Like we noticed that there were a lot of young entrepreneurs, building big businesses. So I think Austin was a really good fit for our company.